Teenagers surround the entire world, and each group of them have their own types of communication with one another. For people older out of the Gen Z population, shame us because they don't understand the way we talk, though it is quite inevitable no matter where you are in time. I decided to interview one of my dear friends included in our Gen Z Discourse community, Nettie Benjamin.
Everyone, this is Zoe here. I'm here with my dear friend, Nettie Benjamin. She also goes to UNM. First of all, I think a discourse community, in my definition, is a community of specific people that have like certain jargon or phrases or languages that like an outsider would have no idea what you're talking about. So that has definitely hurt me because, one, we're teenagers. And when we try to talk to our old folks that are way past our age, or just people on the street, they have no idea what the heck we're talking about because we're teenagers and that's just how it goes. So, Nettie, what kinds of terms do you think you and I use a lot?
Oh my gosh, so many. I think we use because we're really comfortable around each other, I think that we use a lot of comfortable slang around each other. So dropping ing, or at least the G, and T's and words and stuff at the ends of words. Yeah. It's half words, especially because we see each other a lot online. That's just how typing be and saying things like that too. So using improper grammar as in general terms and kind of making it work, and examples like that as well. And just being able to say things, I don't know, we're just comfortable around each other, and we know from past experiences that it makes sense. But to most people, it just wouldn't make sense.
Yeah, and don't you think when you talk like that around other people that don't get it, and also kind of shame you for it, because if you don't articulate your words, you're automatically dumb.
Yeah, and I feel like we get a lot of just havoc coming from especially older people in judgment, you don't know how to use correct language, or your vocabulary is inadequate. And personally, I feel like our vocabulary is expansive enough that we can use these other kind of variations smoothly, and I think that proves that we have an advanced vocabulary.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't like the stigma around it. I feel so personally, I have a mom, okay? She's way older than me. And she is technically what they call a boomer. I don't like using that word, but other people do. Other teenagers do, but I don't. Okay, and she calls grapes sugar balls. So I sometimes she'll even shame me and be like, why are you using that word? Why are you always not articulating the words? I can't understand what you're saying. It's well, you're not a teenager, you don't get it. Okay, that's how I talk to my people. So it should be inevitable. I feel you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I also feel there's a certain comfort and almost community in using certain jargon depending on who you're with, because it's this sense of I understand, and nobody else does, and that kind of makes us like a team, and because that means that we can kind of speak our own personal language and make things personal and be really comfortable around each other, without the whole world being in on it, Yeah. I think that's definitely part of it too. But it can be frustrating, especially when you get people like my parents and grandparents who are just what? You're I don't know how to describe this.
Yeah. So we use weird phrases. I know that because when I first found out what this slaps means, I had no idea. I'm 18, okay? And I found this out 2 years ago. This slaps, when I heard someone say that, I literally heard this music slaps. I'm like, why would music slap? What? Like, why? What does that mean?
I so had such a similar experience. Oh my gosh.
This music is hard. Like, okay, is it soft too? I don't understand.
Like you hear people saying like this music bangs, and you're like,
Yeah.
yeah. So it's I'm not saying it does make sense, but it just makes sense that it doesn't make sense.
Also, I feel like if you feel like our teenager community, I guess, we like to make a lot of jokes with our words. Like TikTok is obviously a big platform for everybody right now, especially teenager. And most of these words or phrases come from that app now. And like, it's just crazy because it's such a big platform. So like, what words? Oh, goat. Or when that's an acronym, but it's still like a big thing.
It's kind of an old one though.
That's the goat.
A lot of them come from like old memes too, like OG memes. Like,
Yeah.
it's like that's just how it is. Like that's what we grew up on. That's like what our community uses to socialize and connect with one another. And so that's just how it is.
And do you feel like the jargon that we use is like originated from the hood, or like, because I know some people that are in, because Nettie and I are not the only people that are in this discourse community, obviously.
It depends, because some of it, I would say like a little bit, but I think we like kind of change it a little bit depending on like our own personal backgrounds and what we knew where we're from. But it also, I think that's where it originated. I just think it's been adjusted since then, depending on, because of all of the people that it's been like passed down to. I don't know.
Yeah, definitely. Like, I was looking up some slang because I don't obviously know every single term that everyone uses in this discourse community, like periods, but it has a T on the end.
Yeah.
Thick, but with two C's.
How do you spell it?
TUFF, like you grab Disco Girl, which I had no idea what that was, but now I do. Canceled, like you don't obviously say these things when you're in college. Like you don't say these to your professor because they're not, I hope they're not teenagers.
Yeah.
If you were to be a part of this community, or like what would our community be called? Like your breakthrough?
Yeah, I think it's just like all of this generation in itself is kind of just a community that uses this specific type of language and slang. Especially in the Western culture, I'm sure there are other variations of the same thing in other cultures and places, but it's just like because I mean we all speak, or a lot of us speak English, and a lot of us kind of use the same terms and phrases based on what we have here. I would say like it's kind of like part of where we are and who we are and stuff, but I think that's part of it is like place and age and just like overall space of where we are.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's so many things that I could call that.
Yeah.
Just in general, I would just say like just casual groups of teenagers as a whole. Yeah.
Casual teenager breakthrough discourse community.
Yes, exactly.
Fast. Blah, 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 blah. I know another big term that is going around this discourse community is simp. And I won't explain what that is, but it's like some other things like squeeze, like shorty, squad, gang, Gucci, you know, these things that other people would just not understand.
Yeah.
Okay, because it's like our own code, like
Yeah.
our comfortable code that we talk to each other like. So.
Yeah. And the funny thing is like a lot of it comes like even the word simp comes from an old English word, like which is simpleton, which is like basically, if you lived in like the 1700s, was a way of calling each other stupid. Like, it's changed so much. I don't even know where it came from.
Yeah.
So it's really honestly kind of cool to see where this like has rooted from and how it's evolved from there. I don't know.
Yeah, it is cool. Thank you for letting me interview you. And I hope you guys like this interview with Nettie and dope. Okay.